guys, how are you? It's Daniela from Sister Mediums. I'm here with your May card reading. I wanted to just first talk about the fact that I don't know if you guys have noticed any changes, but I'm definitely noticing changes. I feel it in the air, regardless of even pulling the cards. There's more traffic out there. There's people who are still keeping their social distancing, but definitely more people out and about. That same fear that had kind of taken over at the end of March and beginning of April has lifted, so to speak. I don't feel people have so much of that anxious feeling about themselves. I just feel that people are now kind of have gotten with the rhythm of things, and this is the new normal for a little while, and people are doing it their way. So it is interesting. But if anyone has any comments about that, I'm curious to see what you guys are feeling, if you've noticed that change, and I'll get right to it. So first card, clairvoyance. This is the ability to be able to see and, see ahead of things happening. And Archangel Raziel is here telling us a few things. He's holding his torch. So as he holds this torch, he is bringing to light things that you may not have noticed before. Could also be new things that are coming at you, but he's actually shining this light ahead and saying that as I show you the light, you're going to feel and see things that you didn't notice. He's holding his heart. The fact that he holds his heart like this and he's shining the light means that new ideas, new things will come to play. You're going to notice new things in relationships, but you're actually going to feel them as well as see them. So what you may have normally dismissed in, let's say, a relationship or with your coworkers or with your friends, you're actually feeling something a lot more different than what you would normally feel. And so he's allowing you to see things from a different perspective and a different light. And what's really nice about this is that this is going to help balance your chakras as well. It's illuminating different parts of the chakras. So if you're in the middle of, some negotiation at work, and I love just giving you guys these case scenarios, but let's say you're in the middle of a negotiation at work, maybe before your chakras were not so aligned and maybe that throat chakra was blocked. So if someone offered you something, you didn't usually have the voice to come back and say what it is you felt like saying. Here we're having this archangel who's shedding light on different things. So in a situation like this, you normally maybe wouldn't have the power, whereas you're seeing it differently this time. Because you're seeing it differently, you're feeling differently, which means it's also activating the chakras, which means you may actually speak your truth and your words that you normally wouldn't have otherwise. So great card to receive starting off the month of May. Pay attention for those signs. People will ask, how do you see things? Well, it's not about being a medium and seeing spirit. Maybe for some of you, absolutely, the third eye is opening. You will see things like that. But we know that we get messages within our dreams. The signs are always clear. They're repetitive signs that will come to you. Hearing the same conversation a few times or coming across the same thing on Instagram, the same thing on Facebook or on TV and thinking, hang on a second, why have I seen that 4 times now in a row? It must mean something to me. Look deeper into the meaning of the things that happen around you sequentially or more than once. Okay? Pay attention to that. But that's a great start to May. What follows is steady progress. And this card here, if you take a look, it's saying, you don't have to always run to try to finish something and get to that finish line, because not everybody who hits the finish line first is a real winner. You've got to get to that point of what lessons do I miss if I jump too far forward? What am I missing if I'm running before I can walk? This is a really big one, because this month we're at that point of we've gotten through the fear and anxiety, most of us anyway, and we're now at a point of what am I learning with this COVID situation? What am I learning having to work from home? What am I learning having to homeschool my kids? It can't just be A, B. Without seeing what follows. C, D, E, and F has followed, and all of a sudden your life has changed in different ways. So what are you learning through this steady progress? It gave us this opportunity, this slowing down of times, to kind of stop and smell the roses. Maybe realistically looking at, teachers from another perspective. Maybe some people don't have the same respect for teachers as others. And some saying, wow, now I really get what teachers go through day in, day out with these large class sizes. I'm feeling a little bit different. So this progress that's happening is because you're slowing down, okay? Not because you're running ahead. Think things through before you make decisions is what I see here. She's also being, she's not having negative thoughts, and she's being a little more lenient with herself. If you notice, she's hugging herself. She's nurturing herself. She's gotten to that point of, I don't have to be so hard on myself if I'm not getting to the end of where I need to be. So for example, being the be all, and I'm saying this in the context of a woman, but it could be a man too, being that person who has to take care of the kids and has to do the schooling and has to do the stuff at work and also all of the stuff at home and cooking and cleaning and, everything together. You might be hard on yourself, but what I'm hearing is don't lose sight of what's at the end, but you can do it in a way that is calm, nurturing. Have faith that what you're doing is going to get you where you need to be, but slow and steady is the way to do it. A little goes a long way. Sometimes little projects are better than one big one. Pay attention to the work you have done so far and give yourself credit for what you have done, okay? Because it's important. Not always waiting, to get that triumphant, oh my God, I finished this big project. The little steps along the way are the ones that are going to help you realize, wow, I did this in baby steps, but I actually did the work to get there, and I may have learned the lessons along the way. If you just get to the end, sometimes the reward's not as big as when you notice all the work you put in, okay? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to get that point across. So the next card that comes up is, excuse me, the King of Gabriel. This is a great card that follows, the great card that follows the slow and steady, because if you take a look at this, he's real calm. He's sitting in that chair and there is success there. He's not afraid. I don't see any worries. What I see is someone who is focused, driven, happy, that they've gotten to their place. But how have they gotten to this place of success or fulfillment? Because they took their time. What's very interesting here too is sometimes this is a sign of, reaping the benefits or the rewards of your labor, but also take a look at that big window. That's clear vision. That's clear vision for the future. Again, also falls back on the clairvoyance card. But what's great about this too is you take a look at the desert. The desert's dry, so a lot of people think, oh my God, it's boring, it's dry, there's nothing there. What it means is you've got time for inspiration, you have time for creation, you have time to think. This is what this card's asking you to do, because it's saying you're ready for the next project or you're ready for the next step in something. Success is yours with this card. And what's interesting about it too is if you take a look in the corner here, this is a health sign. So it's saying that from you being slow and steady, you actually didn't cause yourself to have any major health issues with it. So there's some people who have the pressure of getting projects done, things done, and this gave people less pressure, which was less stress, which meant your health was a lot better. I'm curious how many of you are in a situation like this. When I take a look at the flames too, this is passion. This is, again, I feel we're talking career here, but it could be something else specifically to you. I always tell people, if the cards don't resonate with you, it's not yours. Wait for the next one. But this shows me a lot of success, a lot of hard work to get where she had to get to, and a lot of success. So you see a lot of these little tokens here on the ground. They're almost like little rewards that he's been given along the way. But even now, for the future, it's bright, it's clear, it's the clearest thing there. It just means that you don't know what that is yet, but you're ready for the next step. I like that one. And what came next? Numbers. Okay, so I told you we were going to, maybe I didn't tell you this, but I thought it. We were going to talk about some, predictions or dates with when or how COVID is kind of phase into the next phase. And in our last month's reading a month ago, I talked about, I'm trying to remember what I talked about. I want to say I think it had to do with August, September, October. That's when we were looking towards having, change. So I said May was going to be some sort of change happening, where things would start being lifted, but end of July, end of August, early October, early September, those were the kind of dates that we had already said things would kind of get back to normal. Taking a look at this, we're still kind of in line with that, but maybe have shaved off anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks from those numbers. And I think reason being is that people have been doing their due diligence, I can't even talk, in terms of social distancing and really listening, to what they feel is good to do for their family. Designating one person to go out shopping, just not taking any extra risks that you don't need, and really just taking precautions. Everyone's going to do it differently. But I think instead of having panic or mass hysteria, people are just kind of going with the flow, and it's allowed the flattening of the curve, that's for sure. This is a great card, though. Archangel Michael is here with his sword. His sword is not up, which tells me we're not in that protection mode again. It's the feeling of he's there to protect you if he needs to, but this is going to be a happy ending. Things are coming full circle. So when I also see the globe and the earth, the world in so many different visual forms, that tells me there's travel on the horizon too. So I'm really hoping that that's some positivity here, that there will be some travel, or maybe some travel things will get lifted towards this time. Now, I haven't talked about the time. 2/21, you guys know I add everything. 2 + 1 is 3. So if you look at this from the perspective of where we are, May, June, July, so probably by the end of July, early August. Again, we're not that far off from what I originally said. Like I said, we're looking maybe 4 or 6 weeks less than original kind of numbers. And that's only because people have helped move this along in certain ways. But it looks like July would be the number. End of July, 3 months from now, is where we're going to start seeing some massive changes with normalcy back into our life, so to speak. Although I don't think we're ever really going back to normal. So for those of, I feel like a big run-on sentence, but it's because I'm talking out loud in terms of the thoughts that are just spewing out of my head. We're never going to come back to normal. And I think that was the plan altogether, is how have we learned from what's happened in the world? And how are we conquering this? And how are we conquering our fears, our emotions, our family, our relationships, our everything? A lot of different things have happened. So take this time for gratitude, to thank those who've really helped you through a hard time, because that's really important. I really think, especially here, I'm seeing a lot of blue. It tells me the sadness has been lifted. The sadness is coming to an end. That's a great card to receive too. I'm like, where's my other cards? Oh, they're up here. Okay, so No Place Like Home is the next card I received. There's only one more after this one, but this is a really different card. So if you take a look at this, No Place Like Home, when I hear that, it's just right away there's comfort. There's that feeling of safety. This house here is your haven. Wherever it is you live. For some people it's your job, for some people it is your home, but I think we're really talking about the home unit here. It's perched really high, sitting on top of this bed of lavender, and when you think of lavender, think of the benefits. Lavender brings peace, lavender brings calm, it's used for anxiety and depression. So there's that feeling of comfort when I smell lavender specifically. I feel that feeling of comfort and calmness and peace. And I feel like most people will feel the same way when you think of there's no place like home, just getting home from a day's work. And what do you want to do? You just want to take your shoes off. You want to just get in your comfy clothes, for me anyways. And it's like, most of the time I'm in comfy clothes anyway, but that's not the point. It's that feeling of just, I'm in comfort, I'm in safety. A lot of protection here, away from anything else that's happening. You can see there's that feeling of being comfortable in your own skin. When you think of being home, that is when you're your most authentic. around the people who know you really well, the people who love you, the people who are with you day in, day out, your family. And even if you're single and on your own, the comfort of your own home, your own bed, that is just you. That's what represents you, the way you decorate, the way you have things in your home, your rituals. That's where you're your most authentic self. This is what this card brings us back to. These are all the things that are happening this month. Peacefulness and place of safety. So use it as your haven, because things are going to start getting, back to busy, but hopefully in a different way. People have put those boundaries in place with not necessarily keeping with the habits they had before that were detrimental to them. Okay, very important. Ask yourself, what have you learned being home? What have you learned? Have you learned about the bad habits you have? Have you learned about things you want to change? Have you learned any new things? Were you taking a course? I think a lot of people being home took advantage of this. So, think of the things that have come full circle for you. Again, matches the card before it, okay? The other thing too is, let's take a look at these numbers. 5 plus 0 obviously is 5. If you think of, what are we in, May, June, July, August, September, again, that was the date that I gave you before. Or if you want to look at it as 5 since March, April, May, June, July. So we're back to July. So we're probably toggling between those two time frames for some major things to happen. And I do feel end of July, not beginning. So we still got some time. There's still a good 3 months. 3 months. Maybe that was a Freudian slip again. Monks. Oh my God, how many of us are in mindfulness? How many of you read The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari? That's a fabulous book, in case there just might have been a reason why that came out. That's a really great book. I love it. So you guys should try that one. It's from Robin Sharma. God, is that his name? Close enough. He wrote the 5 a.m. Club as well. Anyways, look him up. He'll come up right away. Last card. I feel like I'm rambling today. I'm always rambling. Hi guys. I always say, you know what? There's our regulars who watch these, and I'm so glad that you sit here and watch them, even with our quirkiness and all the funny stuff that comes out. Because I wouldn't do them otherwise. At least I know you guys watch them and you're like, okay, I sat with my coffee and I watched this for 15 minutes. So thanks. Just want to say thanks. Last card that came out. This is the Poised card. And okay, let's do the numbers in this one too. So 8 plus 4 is 12, 1 plus 2, because I add numbers, we're back to 3. We're back to the original number again. Okay, that's July 3 times. So there is something big happening for July. Okay, so maybe that's when the majority by that, maybe it's for August long weekend. Things will kind of, have some normalcy for the summer. I don't know. But it's big. They keep saying 3. They keep saying July. So there's something to do with July. But Poised. She's happy. Look at her. She's above the pedestal. She is saying, yes, thank you so much. I'm so happy. I've gotten to this place. Maybe this could be, COVID being lifted. So she's happy because COVID's completely being lifted. It could be, completely related to job. It could be the fact that over all this time, so many of you how many of you watched the, what was it called? Oh my God. It was for the Canada Food Banks where they had all the Canadian singers. I can't remember even what it was called. It was on this week. I missed it and I watched the replay. And you were able to still text your $20 or $25 donation, whatever it was. I can't remember, but you were able to still text it because I tried and I'm like, oh, good, this is going to go on my phone bill. So donations happened. So any of you, I totally went off topic, but there's a reason for it. If you can still watch it, and it was the Canadian one. Oh my God, what was it called? If I remember, I'll put it in the comments or the description. But you could still donate to the Canada Food Bank. But aside from that, if you saw it, Drake kind of had the final closing message. And what he said in that message was great because it was about personal goals. And it was, are we taking the time for mindfulness? Are we taking the time to be with the people we love and do the things we love and take the opportunity for the things, that we never have time for? So we always say, oh, I don't have time to work out. Oh, I don't have time to take this course. I don't have time to, come up with some new program. I don't know, I'm making it up. And did you take this time to do the things that you loved? A hobby that you kept saying, I'm going to pick up. I know people actually who are crocheting, people who are knitting, people who are doing really cool things that fill their soul. Have you done that? That's what this card tells me, is that now, some of you who have, you're going to see the successful part of it. Those of you who started working out, what do you think is going to happen by July? You're going to have a better body. You're going to be feeling better. You're going to have healed parts of you. So it's never just about the outer, it's always about the inner. So what self-care, what work have you done on yourself? What have you done to really push yourself into this next phase of who you are? But you've clearly done something, because this is the congratulatory card that says, yay, congratulations, you've done it. And she's happy and ready to keep receiving more and more. I love the pink. The pink always tells me there's a bit of love in here, and I really feel like it's more about self-love and the love of the things around you, the things that bring you joy. So don't forget to do the things you love in the middle of all of this tough time. I want to say thanks. Thanks for watching. It's funny because I feel like this was so short, and yes, this was probably so long, but this new phase of life is going to be great. We're all going to be there doing it together. Thank you guys so much for watching. Julie will be here in 2 weeks with some more information for the rest of the month and what you can look forward to. And blessings on blessings always. I will see you guys in June 1st. Okay, have a great month. Take care.